think we're live.
We are live. Hello, everybody. Hello, it is us. Can we please get one of you beautiful people to give us a sound check? Tell us that you can hear us, see us loud and clear. Let me get my nerd bins off and then we can start this.
Get this show on the road.
Get this show on the road. So yeah, we need to get
Hang on, let me just
get a little
get a bit closer to you.
A little bit closer. So, hello everybody. Just again, we're always very aware that sometimes we may not actually.
Eagerly waiting for your wonderful faces. Yay!
Good. Can anyone see us? Yay! Hello,
The
hello.
light is a bit bright from the hatch. That's easily fixed. I don't want any of that nasty sunlight going in. Okay, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
We have our well.
No, don't tell them.
Okay. We have our
beer.
Our beer.
It's Sunday because
We have to tell them now that we've made a fuss out of it.
It's non-alcoholic beer.
It's non-alcoholic. My mother almost, I think, like struck me off her will when I told her that we're now drinking non-alcoholic beer 5 times a week. 2 times a week we do still have the normal stuff, but yes, non-alcoholic for the rest of the time because we do like our beer.
Exactly. So, firstly, hello. Let us know where you are. Give us your names and tell us your beverage of choice and what you have to drink, whether it's beer, coffee, or anything else. Just tell us, and we'll be on.
Okay, I'm gonna just excuse me for one moment. I'm gonna get this up on my phone
Oh,
so I can
see.
better follow the
you can
comments.
Oh, you can. That's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Clever.
So here we go. That's better.
Teresa, listen, hellos, quick hellos. I'm going to sit and have a little pull of my beer.
All right, so lots of familiar names. Unfortunately, not familiar faces yet. We one day hope to meet all of you, but
Whoever said it's a bit grainy, it is a bit grainy. We are having to stream off a phone at the moment, and again, one of the woes of living on a boat.
that's right.
So that's right.
So we've got Rob. Hello, Rob, one of our patrons. Hello. We've got Todd. We've got Patrick. We've got Steve and Paul, Ray, Tony, Kevin, someone called Yep Me. What are you doing up there?
I'm just putting my glasses off, but I had to hold my beer in the other hand in a strange way to facilitate that.
Edward, Tim, Robert, Larry, Bowwave, Paul, another Paul, Tom O'Connor. Yes, hello Tom. We just did a patron-only live chat for our $5 and up patrons, and Tom and Mary were in on that chat. Slightly more intimate group than what we have now.
I like the free fall as well. It's just like everything's like it's a bit like going from like a. I would suggest from like a sit-down dinner to like a nightclub.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's like hello, could you pass the port? And then all of a sudden you're like dancing at 3 in the morning with like your top off on a stage,
Both equally
covered in
enjoyable
foam.
for our patrons. Okay, so if I carry on saying hello to everyone, then we're literally going to be here all night, and I think we need to get on with the show.
So as you can see from our background and the light streaming through this window, we are back on the boat. It has been 4 months. We carefully planned our episode scheduling so that you never missed out, which is something we always worry about. Are we going to be like, are you going to get crickets from us? No, so we're good, so that's good. So we have, I think about 4 or 5 more episodes lined. We've got three more with the wins.
Yep.
And then we've got an Australia episode to show you.
Yep. And then we're back on the boat.
and
So
we're
I
back
think
on.
we're probably about 3 weeks behind at the moment.
Yeah, so
Which is nice because we didn't want to be. I mean, being 4 months behind was a bit. I didn't really enjoy it, and I'm not sure that you guys loved it either because, like, you'd be following us on Instagram or Facebook, and we'd be like, "Oh, we're in Australia," and then our videos are still from Spain. So we do try and keep as up to date as possible, but yeah, I can only produce 1 video per week at the moment. That's kind of my limit. Because they're very time intensive.
speckled hen.
And so, old speckled hen, is that a type of beer? No.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
So anyway, yes, enough about that. So ask all your questions. I will endeavour to kind of see them all and read them all out and answer them all. As I said, working off my phone at the moment.
And if we don't answer them in like 10 minutes, just ask them again.
Yes, if it's been a few minutes and you still, well, give us more than a few minutes. Give us 10 minutes, and if we haven't replied, then you'll know that we've missed the question, unfortunately.
Yes.
Okay. This message is held for review because it says very hot and sexy dance video. Okay, I'm not going to be showing everyone that. Where are you going?
I'm just checking our data.
Making
Right?
sure we have enough data. Okay. So, Street Truckin' Titan says, after spending time with the winds, when are you buying your new catamaran? So, for those of you who were participating in our Patreon-only live chat just now that we've just finished, you can kind of get up and get yourself a beer or a coffee or something right now, because we've already discussed this in detail. So we are definitely very, very interested in a catamaran as our next boat. Yes, we've got a few people asking about the catamaran situation. We are of the opinion, actually I'll say I'm of the opinion, and then Nick can go on a long diatribe as to what his thoughts are regarding the catamaran situation. That we have sailed a monohull I've sailed a monohull for 10 years now, and I've lived on one for almost 5 years, which kind of blows my mind. And I really love change as a person. I like different things all the time. And so for me, buying a catamaran as an expo is as much about having a change as it is about everything else.
Thanks, Dave.
Oh, hello,
Thanks,
John.
John.
Thanks
We'll
very
put
much.
that to non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah, that's going to go a long way when it comes to non-alcoholic beer. Thank you, appreciate it.
On Friday, it's going to beer, proper beer,
Proper
proper
beer.
man beer.
Yes, proper man beer and woman beer. So yes, I'm very keen on getting a catamaran for the obvious reasons: more space, it's a more stable sailing experience, more storage space, just more space in general. And so they're the obvious things, but also I'm really interested in what a catamaran would be like to live on. So
However,
my vote is a catamaran.
yeah, I think we're going that way, but this season is not. We're keeping this boat.
Oh yeah, well this is what we were just chatting to our patrons about, is that, you know, we're still at the very beginning of our research process, and spending a week on Nick and Jason's boat SV Curiosity. It's a Leopard 43. I think it's a 2006 model, 2005, 2006, something like that. And that was really, really fantastic, very instructive. It kind of confirmed what we had suspected for some time, which was that living on board a catamaran is in many, many ways a lot easier than monohull. And, you know, the sailing performance and all of that. I mean, we do touch on all of this in the videos that we're putting out, but overall, we really enjoyed ourselves, and we could really see ourselves living on a catamaran in the future, for sure. So that was, I guess, that kind of kick-started our more intensive phase of research. Up until now, we've kind of just been casually looking as and when the opportunity arose, but this year we are going to the multi-hull boat show in Grand Mott in France in April. If anyone is going to be there also, then let us know and we will try and catch up. And that is an opportunity for us to really look at a lot of the catamarans that are on the market. Obviously, most of the ones that will be there will be new, and we may or may not be looking at the used market. I think probably the used market for budgeting purposes, if nothing else. So, yes, this year is going to be a year of intensive research into catamarans. We are obviously going to be filming the process and taking you on that journey. And at some point in the not too distant future, we hope to make that change.
Yeah, but it's, as I said, this season and maybe even next season, we know what we want to do, and we are very aware that selling boats and buying boats is not easy.
Yeah, and it's definitely not
straightforward. Yeah, it doesn't happen quickly. So we reckon that it will take 6 to 9 months to sell this boat, and until it's sold, we will just, until it's sold.
I mean, we have the most beautiful boat. We've just spent 4 months away from her, and we stepped back on board, yesterday, the day before, and you just, I don't know, you get this fuzzy feeling inside.
I love this boat.
We just love her so much, and she's perfect for Europe. She's perfect for where we are right now. We would happily spend another few years in Europe on this boat.
Which we may do.
And which we may do.
So we don't know.
We may do.
So yes.
Okay, so thank you very much, David, by the way. That's very generous of
very,
you.
very kind.
Okay, so let me try and find some more questions. All right. Dexter says, what catamaran are you guys leaning towards purchasing? So,
we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. As we just said on the Patreon feed, it's even if we won the lottery. So literally, we're Privilege Series 5, Antares, the high end things. We still don't know everything. There are so many things up for grabs, and really, for us, it is all about research. It is about research, and we're going to do that. And the thing is, a lot of people, you know, I suppose, are thinking of buying cats. So, you know, if we, you know, show you this process, maybe it will help you as well.
Yeah.
Because there's maybe things, you know, if you put, if we talk to other sailors, they'll always put a different slant on things. And so maybe if we give you our slant on this, or on maybe a certain catamaran or monohull, you'll be, okay, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
So it's hopefully it'll be a useful process for you as you move forward, if that's what you're doing.
Yeah. Geezer Gamers just put a bid on a 42-foot lagoon.
Wood. Congratulations.
Yes, all the best. Barton asks, hello, first of all from Oklahoma, and is the new camera going to be ready to sail, or are you going to dip your toes into the refit world?
No.
That's not a world that we're interested in right now.
Look, people, I refitted a boat, and we fitted this boat. It took us 2 years to do.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we were working full-time at the time, but I have no desire to be living in a marina or in a boatyard for years on end, or even months on end. I mean, frankly...
No, we're going to say that.
For me, that is the least enjoyable part. I mean, some people love that, and I'm assuming if you ask the question, then maybe you love that as well. And certainly, a lot of those sailing channels are very popular because people enjoy watching kind of boat maintenance and boat building and fitting out boats and all that kind of stuff. But for us, no, we're here to actually sail and cruise. So we'll be buying something that is pretty much ready to go.
Okay, so Mr. Hwansfeld asks a question, which is completely random. I can just about see that. He's got no.
Okay.
He says, "What's your favourite spot to anchor up and snorkel near Hopetown, heading down in April?"
Okay.
If you are anchored, so that the Hopetown lighthouse is in front of you, so you're outside of the cut, not the cut. What's it called? The lagoon. Yeah. So you're actually outside Hopetown.
Where the anchorage is.
In the anchorage, yeah. So if you are looking at the lighthouse, if you go about between half a mile and a mile to the left of you, so to port, so out to sea,
yes,
there is some amazing snorkeling.
So
there.
Between the island of Elbow Key and the next island of Along is actually like a rock, and it probably has a name on the chart, but I can't remember what it is right now. To the north of Elbow Key, basically, is some really good snorkeling.
Yeah, Billy and Sierra tours in the summer took us.
That's where we went like every single day.
Yeah,
and you can see if it's not a calm day, then obviously you can't go there. But if it's a calm day, and you can see from the anchorage, obviously, whether it's calm or not, you just look and you can see for yourself whether there's waves breaking on the reef. And if there is big waves breaking, obviously don't go. But if it's calm, then do it.
I think if you look at if you watch our video, what's it called? A day.
I think we went. I think it was like we went spearfishing with Tula and Billy and Sierra from Tula or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We made loads of. I can't remember. We made videos about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. John Moriarty says, "Will you guys be in Annapolis this year for the boat show?" Absolutely. Yes, we will. Rob Huisman says,
"It's Rob.
It's Rob. I know. I just don't know how to pronounce Rob. So, oh, hey, sailing Creo. Hey guys.
Let's get on with it."
Sorry. Asks, where will you be sailing this season? That's another question that we don't quite know the answer to. And yes, we're aware that we're about to launch the boat, and we should probably make a decision fairly soon. We're just really torn. Nick?
About what?
About where we're going to sail to this season.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah, because we are enjoying the Mediterranean, and we definitely haven't seen the best of the Mediterranean. However, we have this real hankering to do the French canals because we bought this boat to do the French canals in, believe it or not. That was one of our big kind of items on our to-do list when we bought this boat. We're like, okay, we're going to do the French canals because we've got the lift and keel. It's just this thing that we've always wanted to do. So we're kind of hankering to do that because we're so close to the French canals right now. And we love France. So I'm not sure.
We don't know.
We don't know.
It's probably...
I think we're going to head up to France and just make a decision when we get there.
Absolutely. Someone said, which is obviously a question that people ask...
You realise that you're skipping ahead. I've got my kind of list here. And yours...
woman. All right, carry on.
Was it a question that you can answer quickly?
No.
No? All right then. Okay, Peter says, without being rude to the winds, which we would never be, what did you think of the Leopard 43? There's no need to be rude about this. We loved their boat. We really liked it, didn't we?
Yes. And I'm not just saying that. It's a really well-appointed boat. It's such a shame that catamaran design has moved on.
Well, catamaran build quality. Really.
Yeah, and it's really well built, that boat, and it doesn't have sail drives. You know, it actually has shaft drives, and you're like, bloody hell. And I talked to Jason about it. It's like they only made a very small number of those.
It's a really well designed.
Yeah,
boat.
really. But shaft drives in a cat, that's like it's such a big thing. Such a big thing.
Very rare these days. So yeah, we loved their boat. We really did, and I mean, they've done it very nicely. You know, they're very boat proud. Yeah, it was a beautifully kept boat. So yes, we loved.
So sorry, yes. Someone.
Hang on, I'm in charge of the questions. I will get to everyone in due course.
I bet you won't.
No, I probably won't. Edward. Yes, sorry. Edward says, I think because you owned a monohull, then when you do buy a catamaran, you'll appreciate the catamaran more. That's possible. Okay. Would you consider learning to dive?
We do. We're both divers.
We both already dive.
The problem is that this boat is too small to keep dedicated dive gear on. So, bigger boat will lend itself to having diving cylinders. But we both dive. We've dived for a while.
Yep.
There you go.
Does it ever worry you about
Sorry.
injuries? Or is your first aid kit mega size? Our first aid kit is actually surprisingly modest. I think it has all the basics, but it's not like this ridiculous, ginormous kind of suitcase full of stuff. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Nick in our previous lives, before we became like filmmakers, was a dentist and I was a paramedic, so we have quite a bit of experience and knowledge about all things medical. And yeah, I think that we have all of the things on board that we feel like we would need in an emergency and nothing extra. So yeah, space on board this boat is obviously a bit of an issue. So do we kind of store loads of first aid equipment or do we store spares for like our engine? Like these are the kind of decisions we've had to make.
There's got a lot of space on, but you do have to cut down stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Gears of Gamer says, I almost put a bid on a nil trimaran. What do you think of nil trimarans?
I don't like them.
Yeah, we had one moored next to us in Charleston, so we had a good opportunity to...
They're fast, but I don't like them.
Okay. Hang on.
Anyway, someone asked us, what do you ask?
Yeah, go on.
Someone asked us if we got a deal on a new cat like the Vagga, would we go for it?
I
think I'd be tempted, but I wouldn't do anything that I wasn't happy with regarding the boat. That's genuinely, there's no point. Let's say if someone offered us an inflatable unicorn boat that basically was and they said, oh, you can have this expensive boat, but it's an inflatable unicorn. I wouldn't do it. So the first thing for us is going to be what we actually want.
Yeah.
There's no point otherwise. Otherwise, it's just on something you're not happy with. So it would have to be something that you're very, very happy with.
And I mean, we don't know the deal that Love Agamon made.
No one does.
You know, I'm assuming that there was a non-disclosure agreement between them and Uchimere. So, nobody actually knows what that situation is. People have speculated at length, and we have heard a few different kind of variations of what the deal is from people who apparently are in the know, but we don't know.
No one knows it.
So
anyone that says they know what exactly was happening. Yeah.
Anyway, what is the best or worst thing you took from your vacation with the Winds?
The best thing was that they are, and I've said this before, they are super hysterically funny. They're really, not that they're not funny on their videos, but they are even more funny when you meet them, because I think we've said this on the Patreon feed, they are very professional in their outlook, which we're not. And so we just go, oh yeah, blah, 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 video this, off we go. And then, but they have come from a professional filming background and bring their professionalism to their vlogging.
Yes. I didn't take any bad things from our week. We had like the best week of all time.
Brilliant. It was fantastic.
And I think you can see that when you watch the videos.
Yeah, they're fantastic people.
Okay, Nautical Sailing says, out of interest, what price will a boat like yours go for? I'm assuming you mean
this.
Our boat.
In UK pounds, based on these go between about 220 and 270,000 pounds, depending on the year and the kit that's on them. Yeah.
There you go. TJ says, cats cost a lot of money. Is it worth it?
We don't know.
This is a big question.
As we said before, the interesting thing will not be what we buy next, but what we buy after that.
After that.
Because we will then have a really good comparative of, you know, what do we buy?
Yeah.
You know, what you know, did we like the mono? Do we want to go to a catamaran? Or, you know, or we're just going to change for the sake of changing. But what I would say to you is, and this is something that does appear, and I'm not, we were sailors before we did this. We've always been sailors, and if we didn't do the YouTube thing, we'd still be going through the same processes of what do we buy next.
Yeah.
So this isn't kind of like, oh, join us on our journey as we learn to sail and explore the world of. We're sailors. So, you know, in 20 years' time, I will still be sailing a boat. I will still be living on a boat, hopefully, or at the very least spending, unless obviously my legs fall off or I can't get on a boat. But...
Even if your legs fell off, I would take it.
Exactly.
Next, Jeremy says, what is the best advice you can give to a new sailor following in your footsteps? We get asked this all the time. Are you comfortable? Because I feel like maybe you're not sitting on the little blanket that is
Are they on the beer? Where is it? Are they in the fridge?
Yes. Okay, Jeremy. So we get asked this all the time, and as we say quite often, I don't know if you can hear me because Nick's rummaging around making a bloody racket. He's back. I mean, there are some YouTube sailing channels who don't know what they're doing, have never sailed a boat before, buy a boat, and as Nick said, it's kind of like you follow them on their journey from being complete novices to cruising. And the Winds actually are an example of this, although they had a huge head start because they came from RVing, and having now met them, they are incredibly they research everything like you would not believe. They are very, very, very well informed. They inform themselves about everything that they need to, and so yeah, they definitely did not make any decisions lightly, and they did everything in a very kind of sensible and responsible way. So we would, but that being said, we would not recommend that you kind of do things in that way. You know, buying a 43-foot catamaran, for example.
That was gutsy.
It was gutsy, and actually, we have a Q&A with them coming up where this question it was questions from our patrons that we put to Nikki and Jason, and this was one of the questions that we always say, you know, start small, you know, go down to your local yacht club. Learn how to sail first, and then when you buy your first boat, like make sure it's a small boat so that it's easy to handle, and you kind of can learn without a 44-foot catamaran to kind of be intimidated by. And Nikki and Jason advised the same thing, but they actually didn't do that. So we talked to them about this, and they have some really good answers. So anyway, so let me carry on before.
I've got some questions for you. See, I can do this as well.
All right.
Daniel says, what does your boat cost new? Well, the thing is, you can't buy this boat new anymore, but you will be able to. So Southerly Yachts being bought by Discovery, and apparently Discovery are bringing out a new Southerly 38. I believe the price is going to be about £400,000. It is eye-watering.
Yeah,
so that's
it's very expensive.
Yeah, that's $550,000 US.
Where did you get that figure from?
I can't remember. Maybe Paul and Cheryl told us. No, they didn't.
You're just making things up.
No, someone definitely told me that they're going to bring out. They're going to bring it. Discovery are thinking of bringing out a 38 because
we did at some point see a price list of all the Southerly.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Anyway, I can't remember.
So yeah,
they're expensive.
They are expensive for what they are, and they will be more expensive under Discovery than they were under Southerly.
Dave wants to know how the sail right's doing, Nick. Are you using it as an anchor? The sail right is safe and sound under one of these.
Yeah, that's why the boat needs to starboard a little bit.
Would you plan on coming to the South Atlantic, for example, Brazil? Very much so, absolutely. I don't know when, but yes. I mean, there is nowhere in the world really that isn't of interest to me to go to.
Yes.
Okay. How's Ruby Rose? Asks Zari.
She's beautiful. Do you know what?
Did she fare well during the winter?
So far, so good.
And are you glad to be home?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
We're glad to be back. The boat inside is fine. We will see tomorrow when we get dropped in the water if all the mechanics work and everything turns and works. And if that's the case, we'll sail off to the Valencia tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll deal with our issues, or if there are any, touch wood, there won't be.
No,
but no, the boat is a very, 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 very dry boat. She doesn't come back full of damp. It's just, we sail her up and she's good.
John wants to know what you don't like about trimarans. Can you elaborate, please? We don't have much experience with trimarans.
Okay, the two things that put me off Neil, one was I looked inside one and I thought it looks really Ikea-ish, more so than a catamaran. That could just be I need to take a second look. Secondly, I heard horror stories on the internet about Neil trimarans. Some bloke, and I'm not sure, this may just be, a disgruntled customer had a really bad one and put all these videos on YouTube about how badly built it was. And it kind of like, I watched one, and I'm like, bloody hell. So,
but they
nothing,
don't appeal to us, so we haven't done a lot of research into it.
Never say never. Never say never. There's no point in, passing any strong opinion on something I know nothing about.
Yeah.
That's just being bloody ignorant. What I've seen so far, it's meant to be the best of both worlds. My thoughts are that it actually gives you the worst of both worlds. There you go. Bloody philosophical.
Okay. John says, in your experience, you feel newer boats are not as well built as the older boats?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
We have been shopping for our next boat, and the older ones feel more solid and better built. Do you have an opinion? 100%. And this is what we were saying about Nick and Jason's boat, their Leopard 43. It's a 2005 model, and I would buy that boat before buying a brand new Leopard, even if costs were not, didn't come into the picture. I prefer their boat. Nick?
Yes, look, we just went through this, but I think
that, sorry, just to clarify, we're talking about production boats, really. Because they're the boats that are built to a price point. So
what happened was, and we have experience of this because we bought a boat in 2007. My second boat was a new build, and we bought a Hands. And in 2008, the crash happened. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that there's not a lot of money in boat building. The profit margins aren't huge. They make a little bit of money on each boat, so they're production boats. What happened is, after 2008, the boat industry went into free fall because no one was buying boats. And so a lot of companies almost went bust, and they were bought out by venture capitalists. So Hands were bought out by venture capitalists who basically they have no interest in boats. They're like, well, look, we're going to take this company over, and we intend to make profit out of it. So what they then did was, well, to make more profit, you need to reduce the price that you're manufacturing it at. So when we looked at the 2007 Hands to 2009 Hands, same model, it's just a completely different boat. And we're really good friends with our Hands broker. And I'm like, what's going on, Phil? He's like, the crash. They've just stripped, the accountants got in there and said, you've got to cut down the costs. So even looking at Nicky and Jason's, I think it's a 2005. That's a really good quality boat. And realistically, I would buy I would not buy a boat, a production boat that was between 2009 and 2011. I think that's really bullshit. I don't want anyone to come back and say, "Oh, you said that," and we shouldn't do. I literally, there are so many. They're not even hidden problems. They are absolute. You can see in the build quality. You go on board and you go, "Wow, this is completely different to the way it was." And you can see that you go to Nicky and Jason's boat. You're like, "God, this is well built. It's a really well built boat, and it's coming up with 15 years old." This only applies to production boats because production boats are built to a price point, and non-production boats are just built. That's the price. It's like, well, this is the price you want to pay.
That's why sublease is so expensive.
Yeah, that's exactly why sublease is so expensive. You have to okay. Put it this way: this boat, new, is if Discovery bring out a new version, it'll be about 400,000. Right now, even if you strip the fact that they could probably throw 100,000 into this keel mechanism. The swing keel is a really big thing. So forget the swing keel. Imagine that the swing keel cost 100 grand. So this is now, but no swing keel. Take 100,000 off. So this is a £300,000 boat. It's twice as expensive as a Beneteau or a Jeannot. And there's a reason why, because it's built twice as well. They're not sitting there going, oh, you know what, we're going to get, Obviously, there are certain things, like if Jeannot or Beneteau go to a company and say, well, we're going to build 1,000 boats this year, we want 1,000 Yanmar engines, or they can get a better deal.
Yeah. So
they can negotiate harder on certain elements that go into the boat, but I don't think it's that much. Because if, say, for instance, if Jeannot want to go and spend, want to go and produce an engine, that costs something. They can't strip them down so much. So there is a reason it's not profiteering, and it's why bigger companies or tend to ride out these problems slightly better, and smaller yacht companies go bust. It's not that they go, oh, we'll have to reduce our profit margins. They are just better built. But it's difficult when you don't own boats to look at two 40-foot boats and go, well, why is this one twice as much as this? It's almost the bloody same.
Yeah. And is it worth the extra money? And that's a question that you can only answer for yourself. Like, it depends on what is, of value to you.
Okay. So the 380 at the moment is 350,000.
Okay. That's a new Southerly 38,
yeah.
so 350,000. That would be base price, obviously.
So basically, yes, it is base price, and we got the bare minimum put on this boat. And I don't mean the bare minimum, we don't want anything on it. And I think, I can tell you what we paid for this. We paid, hang on a minute. The base price was 286,000, and my walkaway bill was 330,000.
Yeah.
That was the electronics packages, radar, heating, all the other things we put on it. Mm. And in addition to that, once we got the boat back, we put another 100 grand into it. So it
a lot of money.
But thanks for that, James. It's really interesting that Southerly are doing that. So thank you.
Okay, let's move on. So Jim asks a simple question, which is, do you guys enjoy a bit of cool weather after being in hot temperatures for so long? And I, for one, am enjoying the cool weather. I
am indeed.
The temperatures during the day are quite nice. They're like mid-20s, and then in the evening and at night, it really cools down. However, our diesel heater is not working, so that's a bit of a pain.
Effing Erbisbacker.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
Can you fix it, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Aboard Ahana says, I really enjoyed your episodes with the winds. Are you going to do a reciprocal with having them on board your boat for a stint? We would love that, but...
It's going to happen.
We've invited them. We have kind of thrown ideas around together, but they have 2 cats, and so as we discussed when we were with them, it's really hard for them to take time away from their boat because they have to find someone to look after their cats. But yes, we hope
No, do you know what? It's even as a non-commercial enterprise, we genuinely said to Nikki and Jason, look, if at some point you just want to take a break,
yeah,
we'll just catch up somewhere. We'll show you Europe. So yeah, Jeremy Faulkner, the 2008 economic collapse caused PDQ to sell their name and motor cats to a company in the States moved to Argentina.
And rebranded as Antares.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Antares, PDQ, Oyster. Apparently, who knows? Who else? Other companies have gone bust. Naiad. Loads of them. There's hundreds of them.
Nortec.
Okay, so Rich D asked a question that I am going to really go to town on. It says, really worried now, new to sailing and thinking of a Moody 44cc. Am I wrong? Plus, we're really old. Moody's are amazing boats.
Really old, not really odd.
I said old.
I think 10 plus are really old.
No, old. So basically...
And 60 is not really old.
Moody's are amazing boats. And Moody went bust. And Moody... Oh, they're back now, aren't they, with that bloody aberration. But older Moody's are beautiful, well-built. I'd buy a Moody in a heartbeat. Absolutely. The other thing is, you're not really old. At all. Listen, for all our kind of slightly older viewers, I was... just an anecdote. We were sat in a bar in Adelaide with Teresa's mum and dad. And... It's going off in this bar. It's my new favourite bar. Literally, there's all these youngsters running around. Blah,
Is that Roxy's?
Yeah, Roxy's.
Yeah, anyone who's in Adelaide, Roxy's. That's fun. It's a fun bar.
So anyway, Teresa's mum, Teresa's mum and I drink like a couple of old winers when we get going. She leans over to me at somewhere through the evening. She goes, Nick, am I too old to be in here? And your mum is in her 50s, yeah? Isn't she coming up to 60 this year?
Coming up to 60.
An important birthday. And I went, Bonnie, absolutely not. I said, because you know what? If the Rolling Stones rock that turned up in here tonight, the place would just explode. It is nothing to do with your age. It is to do with how you feel. Obviously, if you're 105 and you can't move, things are different. But, my best friend John is 76. Strong as an ox, sails all the time. Anyway. 60's not old.
Yeah. Sorry, we've got a lot of questions to go through. MJ says, Nick, do you miss dentistry?
No.
And also, James says, would you sail the Great Barrier Reef? Yes, 100%. I'd love to sail Australia for fairly obvious reasons.
Oh, so James Day just says 395,000 for the Southerly 38. Yeah, 400,000.
Oh, okay, so it's 390. Okay, so there you go. So
400,000 for the boat.
That's the base price.
Plus the extras, which you're going to need to put 50 to 60 on, plus 20% VAT.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
That's huge. That's huge.
It's the best boat in the world.
Well,
best 40. You can't buy one of these for love nor money. There's no used ones on the market.
but that's an absurd amount of money to pay for a sub 40-foot boat.
Yeah, but hang on a minute. So the problem with this is that if you've got money, no object,
Yes.
and you want to buy a 40-foot monohull
Yeah.
for cruising, not for racing,
Yeah.
I think this is the best boat in the
I
world.
agree, but I think that most people who...
Yeah, absolutely, which is why it's such a niche product.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. A good question, which is YouTube a love-hate relationship for you? Seems YouTube is controversial from time to time, and it's tougher and tougher to make a living from. Are there any alternatives? Yes, YouTube is definitely tough to make a living from.
You can't make a living from it.
No, and I would never advise, if anyone who said to me, how could I make a living while cruising, I would never say to them, start a YouTube channel, because you should never do this because you want to make money, because you just won't make any money. Or rather, it would take you years to make money. So YouTube, and we make very, very, very little money from YouTube itself. Thankfully, we have our patrons who really are the reason why we're able to make these videos, because if we didn't have Patreon, we wouldn't be able to afford to make these videos. It's really it's that simple. So, yeah, just a massive shout out to our amazing patrons for a minute. Thank you very much.
I'm not answer Adam's question because it just seems so. Adam Knight says, having paid 330,000 for your yacht, why did you spend the additional 100,000? Because a couple of reasons. Firstly, was because the yard itself were charging an eye-watering price for basic things. So, for instance, the example I always give, that to add a folding prop, a feathering prop to this boat, in build was £3,000 plus VAT. To add the folding prop after you've built it is £900.
Well, it was £900 for the
Yeah, so we just built it and fit it ourselves.
You fitted it yourself.
So if we had put all the extra stuff we put onto this boat onto the boat at build by Sudley, it would have cost 50% more. So rather than spending 100, we spent 150.
And also, our boat is really highly spec'd because we have done so much with her. So we've taken it across the Atlantic twice. We've sailed to the Caribbean. You know, I think we've sailed something like 25,000 miles on her.
Yep.
And, you know, we like to have everything kind of working well. And so we buy items that will do the job. You know, we have, even just our sail plan is worth, actually, I don't even want to think about how much our sail plan is worth. It's a lot. We've got a storm jib, we've got a code 0, we've got a parasailer, as well as our jib and our main. If you just look at our transom, just our transom alone, there's... Nick, do you want to hazard a guess as to how much money our transom is worth?
I think all the products hanging off the back are about £30,000.
We have a hydrovane, we have a hydro generator, we have an SSB aerial for our SSB radio, which is hugely expensive.
But, you know,
we have our life raft,
yeah.
you know, like...
It does cost a lot of money.
It adds up. So, you know, 100,000, it sounds like a lot of money. You buy a boat that has no kit on it from new, obviously, and that will go no problem. Okay, Tom asks, still on money, Tom asks, how much did it cost to winter the boat on the hard?
We don't know, we'll pay the bill tomorrow.
No, I don't know, because I got the quote. So for 4 months on the hard, including the haul out and the launch, was, I think, about €2,500 for 4 months.
Yep.
Which I didn't think was too bad. Okay, David asks, what advice could you offer to persuade my non-sailing wife to quit the rat race and join the cruising life? Is she a sailor already? If she's not, then get her sailing, obviously.
Yep.
If she's already a sailor and she doesn't want to be a full-time sailor, then, you know, frankly, if she doesn't want to do it, then she doesn't want to do it. YouTube is a great source of inspiration, not to kind of be too pointed, but there are some really fantastic YouTube channels that kind of will, I'm sure, be showcasing your desired cruising ground, so that would be a really good start. Chartering in the cruising ground that you're wanting to start off in is also a really good option. But yeah, if she doesn't sail, then obviously get her sailing, and if she does sail but she doesn't want to, then I don't know.
Don't know your stuff, mate.
Yeah.
Stuffed. Steve says, why don't you go the other route of buying us a beer and do it via PayPal as others do? We do. There's a buy us a beer somewhere on our website.
We have a PayPal button. You can do that. We're very thankful for, by the way.
Beachcomber says, as the winds are relatively new to sailing, how do you feel they've come along as sailors? They have crossed an ocean, but it's only been a few years. Yeah, do you know what? Jason knows that boat inside out. And I don't know whether it's because he's come from RVs. I felt totally at ease in his company. At no point did I ever think, actually, I would. And he taught me a few things. So
they're very as I said before, they really inform themselves on everything. They research everything. They take sailing and cruising very, very seriously. They're very, very well informed, and they're very humble. So they listen to advice, and when they were learning to sail, they took the entire process extremely seriously. So they've got the right attitude.
Bowway Paul says, are you going to have to sell the Southerly to get catamaran? Yes, once we finish with this boat, once we've done this season, or even this season or the next, we will have to sell this. I'm not owning two boats. No way.
Sailing Yacht Aurora says, hi guys, love the channel, thank you. I think you once said that your Southerly was ideal for Europe and the Caribbean, but you prefer something else for the Pacific. Just wondering why. Thanks, Chris. So it's not actually the Pacific Ocean specifically that we would want another boat for. There's nothing different about the Pacific than the Atlantic and the Caribbean, for example. However, for us, because home is essentially the UK or Europe, going into the Pacific means doing a circumnavigation, or stopping somewhere and shipping the boat back, or selling at some point between, I don't know, say in Australia or in Asia or in Tahiti, you can sell the boat there. But as we've already said, the Southerly is a very, very specialised boat. And, Europe and the UK is really where the market is. There's no real market for a Southerly 38 in Tahiti, for example. So for us personally, with this specific boat, once we went through Panama Canal, we would be committed essentially to sailing the boat back to Europe, because that's how the prevailing winds work. And yes, I'm aware that you can go down into the roaring 40s and sail it back eastward, but I have absolutely no desire to do that, especially not in this boat. So that's why, essentially. So yeah, that's fine. I hope that answers that question. Okay.
Joseph says, you never added a wind generator. We did.
Yes, we do.
We've got a wind generator on the back.
Yeah, that's one that I forgot about, the wind generator. Okay, Button says, it's easy to say speed, 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 but as full-time cruisers and sailors, do you still want fast and open cockpit, or do you want slower and heavier with more comfort? Is that more important to you after your experience? We're not really... obviously every sailor likes going as fast as the boat will allow. You always want to be getting maximum performance out of your boat, but we wouldn't buy performance, we're looking at catamarans. So we're probably not looking at performance catamarans because they're not as conducive to the cruising lifestyle as liveaboard catamarans are, because they're very weight sensitive, and therefore you're really limited in the type of items that you have on board. So for example, we would want, a generator, we would want a big fuel tank, a big water tank, we would want a big water maker, we would want, even a washing machine. We don't have a washing machine at the moment. We want to be able to put stuff on the boat that's going to make our life easier. And there's no point in doing that when you've got a Ultramare or something, because then you lose the performance, and then what's the point in buying the Ultramare in the first place?
I talked to Mathieu at the Miami Boat Show about that Ultramare 45. You can't put a genset on it. It's too heavy.
Yeah.
So someone just said, this is a difficult one. Firstly, for those of you who have just joined in, Ruby Rose, we are doing at least this season in Ruby Rose. So literally, we've got this boat probably will, when we decide to put it up for sale, she's not going to go quickly. We want to find the right buyer. It's not about just handing the keys over. So we will be doing this season in Ruby Rose. The question we've been asked here is, are we going to keep the name Ruby Rose, or is it going to be Ruby Rose 2? I don't know.
Sorry, Ron.
I don't know. I don't know what. I don't know. Is it Ruby Rose or Ruby Rose 2? We haven't decided.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead.
No, we'll work it out.
Okay, Gavin says, can you please give your opinion on how much YouTube sailing channels are inspiring people to go sailing instead of them going the usual route via yacht club? So yeah, this is what we're talking about.
Who is it? What is that question?
So are sailing YouTube channels inspiring people to like kind of buy a boat and go sailing straight away, instead of the more traditional route of going to a yacht club and learning to sail on someone else's boat and doing all that?
Yeah, so Gavin actually sent us a message, which is he's a part of the Medway Yacht Club.
Oh!
So, hello, Gavin.
Yes, of course.
Basically, the thing about YouTube sailing channels is the last time I looked, there were 800 of them. So if you go onto that sailingchannels.whatever, there's 800 channels. All do different things. And what I say to a lot of people is when you look at sailing channels, just imagine, think of it like music. We all, there's Beyonce, there's like kind of like death metal and rap and everything in between, and everyone does things differently. If you look to the top 25 channels, again, there's such a wide variety of like different formats. You've got like at the top, you've got La Vagabond that are doing the very glossy, isn't this amazing? And they do inspire people to do this. And I think that's fantastic because really, if you look at where YouTube is going, sailing aside, YouTube will overtake television in 10 years. So as a format, it will overtake that. So you've got people like La Vagabond, then you've got people that like Ran, who are just hardcore, and I love them because they are proper sailors.
Yeah.
If I had to go out drinking with a couple, it would be Ran over SLV.
Plus, everyone loves the Swedes.
Yeah, except for the Danes when it comes to football matches. So, so we all do. And so, in answer to your question, yes, it does inspire people, and yes, I think it is a way of getting people inspired. But inspiration is a journey. And something can fire...
Inspiration is a journey.
Yeah.
We should put that on a t-shirt or
something. No, but it is. Okay. It is because you should be inspired to do something. Like, for instance, you could be inspired to take up the violin, but then you've got to go and actually take the next steps. And this is where yacht clubs come in, because another question that someone asked is, how did you learn to do maintenance? I learned maintenance by sitting with all my old yachty mates and them saying, that's how you splice. That's how you service your outboard. That's how you anti-foul. That's how you do this. And so it's all part of a journey. And really, I worry for people that just say, I saw it on YouTube and off I go. Because we have met people that have done that. And I'm like, bloody hell, just don't sail anywhere near me because you're a liability.
Yeah.
So it's one part. The other thing is, and I do bang on about this, and I bang on about it and bang on about it, YouTube channels have a duty of care to people that are being inspired by them to actually do their sailing in a way that is safe. And I understand that you've never worn a life jacket, and we didn't wear life jackets when we were on SV Curiosity because it was daylight and we're within a mile of shore. But the argument is, well, if you're unconscious, you still don't float. But so we make a risk assessment. But the problem that you have is that people think that it's easy, and it's not easy. So when you find a channel that just shows you, isn't this amazing? That's brilliant, and it gets the views in. But is that informing you and inspiring you in the correct way? We were always taught, just be safe. Just do things safely. Because, realistically speaking, SLV, they fall overboard and drown. So what? But if some poor bugger in a lifeboat damages himself trying to get, save them, or someone gets hurt trying to help someone that's done something stupid when they didn't need to, then that's where I take issue with that. Okay. Yeah. So I think that we all have a duty to inspire people in the correct fashion. Hope that answers your question.
Okay, Tony, again, is one of our patrons and joined us for our Patreon live feed an hour ago. And he asks, after being resistant to joining Patreon, which for those of you who don't know, we were initially very resistant to joining Patreon, are you happy now that you did? Yes.
Let's just strip the finances aside, because everyone's like, well, let's just... Listen, I already said this, it's an e-begging bowl. I used to say, you're just a begging bowl. And, okay, I've had to do a turnaround, and people could say, well, hang on a minute, you're just turning around because you're now on Patreon. Watch our video where we kind of bitched about not doing it and why we didn't do it, and then why we did do it. And that's open, and it's on the internet. The community that we have on that platform, and we're not going to mention it again, the community is bloody fantastic.
Yeah.
And we've put a lot of things into that platform that I'm like, well, that isn't that good. You know, shall we do this? And to us, it's just like a little family.
Yeah.
It is like a family.
It
Like
is.
and this year we launched a WhatsApp group, and I'm like, you know what? Are we going to get absolutely swamped with people just WhatsApping us all the time? I love it. Literally,
Yeah.
I love the WhatsApp group. Literally, you wake up and like people just asking, and everyone is super bloody respectful.
And people like get to know each other as well. It's not just like our patrons and us, and that's like, you know, the kind of connection. Our patrons are also connecting with each other. We have a Facebook group, which our patrons can join and they can chat to each other. As Nick said, we have a WhatsApp group, so our patrons can chat to us anytime they want, and we really enjoy that. And we do these live feeds as well, just with our patrons, so we can kind of answer their questions in a more intimate setting. And it's a really, really nice community, and we get to know them, and we don't know them in person yet, but we're very much hoping that we can change that at some point. So yes, we love it.
Another question: Blur or the Stone Roses? It doesn't even need to be answered, my friend. It's always going to be the Stone Roses.
Ernie from Street Muscle is his username. Says, what is your plan for increasing subscribers? Perhaps diving episodes, more exotic ports, etc.
Do you want to answer this?
Yes. Well,
go.
Okay, I'll see. I don't know what you're about to say.
Nudity. Tackle out, subscribers up.
Look, we try and put ourselves first. I think it's very easy to get carried away by the channel, and certainly I won't mention any specific names, but we have friends who are YouTubers who get really...
Sorry, Gavin.
What?
No, I just read that. It's the wrong association. Carry on, babe.
Oh, he's part of... Okay, sorry. Now you've made me lose my train of thought. Yes, we have friends who are YouTubers who get really kind of caught up in this cycle of wanting to feed the beast, you know, needing to have their videos out on time every, let's say, Friday or every Sunday or whatever, wanting those videos to be as high quality as possible, wanting to put out more videos per week, but just not finding the time. And there's always this balance between kind of being happy with the product that you're putting out, i.e. your videos, and kind of managing your time effectively and looking after yourself as well. I think a good example of this is Delos. I don't know if you guys follow Delos. Most of you probably do. And I mean, I've been watching Delos for forever. And yeah, I tell you what, if they ever invited us on board, then I would be proper fangirling out. You think I was bad with Nikki and Jason? Like, I would go completely mental if I was on board Delos. Anyway, I love them. I really admire what they do. I love the quality of their video production. I love their kind of overall ethos. And what they have been saying on their most recent, episodes and on their social media. And Brian put out a comment on, I think, last week's episode that I read today, which was that they spend, believe it or not, 80 hours per episode just on editing. That's not even the filming, which I suspect they spent a lot of time on. So they are such perfectionists. And okay, 80 hours is probably the very kind of top end of what I would expect an episode to take to edit. It's 2 working weeks. It's a huge amount of time for one 30-minute episode. And, you know, if by any chance any of them are watching this right now, you know, I would be very interested to hear whether they think that's time well spent. But they are perfectionists and they want to put out the best possible video that they're capable of. And so they're doing a very good job, on the outside at least, of not bowing to that pressure of putting out videos every week. So they're going down to 3 videos a month now because they're wanting to put the quality first. I think I'm ranting a little bit, but my point is that we're trying to put ourselves first and our channel second, and we're doing what's best for us.
Yep.
And we're filming our lives, but we're living our lives the way that we want to live them, and we're filming in a way that is kind of conducive to us remaining kind of happy and keeping that balance, I guess. And so if that results in increased subscribers, then that is great. If it doesn't, and there are things that we could be doing that would make our channel grow faster, but we're not doing them now because, as I said, we're putting ourselves first. So anyway, I'm been ranting about that for a while. So
Thank
I'm
you,
gonna
Robert.
stop.
That's very nice of you.
Yes, thank you, Robert. Okay.
All I would say about subscriber numbers is that, do you know what? And I bang on about this on other platforms. Subscriber numbers are what everyone sees. It is so misnomic. The subscriber numbers, it's to do, when you look into the metrics of YouTube, it's actually your engagement rate, which is more important than your subscriber numbers. And I'm sure that MJ won't knock us for saying this. MJ Sailing just hit 100,000 subs. Teresa and Jessica talk all the time. They put out a video that gained them something crazy in subs because there was some nudity in it. But there's no more engagement for them because those people aren't interested in them genuinely. They were just there to see, Jessica's tits. So
yeah, so it's hard. So yeah, the subscriber number really is just a number, and we get so much satisfaction out of our community, both our Patreon community, but also obviously our wider community, which is why we're doing this live chat. We're not doing this because we have nothing better to do. We're doing this because we love engaging with you guys.
And that's what it is. So we have, look, to tell you the truth, Delos are moving to 3 videos a month because they want to change. Nikki and Jason, we talked to them, would love to move, just do less videos.
Yeah.
Just do less videos so they could do, spend more time doing theirs.
Yeah. We
have just stopped obsessing about subscriber numbers and are just working on our community.
Yeah.
Because, as I said, we're never going to be above Delos. I don't want to be above Delos. They inspired us. SLV probably have now got a huge team working on advertising, promotion, and editing to get them to 1 million subscribers. Brilliant! It's so good for sailing, but that's just not us.
Yeah.
Think of it as I said at the outset. Think of it like the music scene. I don't want to be Beyonce. I just want to be this little indie band that does my own thing, goes and wrecks the occasional hotel room, and plays guitar.
Okay. And it also asks, what is your opinion of the claim that 90% of our time or cruises' time is spent at anchor?
It probably is.
I would say that's about right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone said poor quality video. Nothing we can do. We're using a phone to stream. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and the light is going as well. We're using the camera from the laptop.
We'll have to wrap it up in a bit anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I'm trying. Sorry. If you see any questions that you want to answer them, because I'm just trying to find...
Yeah, get your last questions in. If we haven't answered your question, just let us know again.
Yeah.
Subscriber number's good. What else? There must be another question you can pull out of the hat.
Parmidget says, what would you think of getting a bigger monohull like a 60-foot mono rather than a catamaran?
Never say never, but this is big enough for 2 of us.
Yeah. Are mermaids real, and how do they poop?
Like a fish does. Like it just disseminates into water like throwing flour. Richard Simpson says, is a southerly 42 too big for a first boat? Not if you... I don't know, mate. It is a bit big, but as I said, Nick and Jason bought a 43. All I would say is that the southerly 38 is bigger on the inside than the 42. It's just, do you want the 3rd cabin? There you go.
Craig says, hey guys, wish me luck. I just moved to Essex and start a new job tomorrow, hoping to join a local sailing club soon and learn to sail. Thanks for being...
Go and see Robert Benfleet. He's a nice bloke.
Essex? Oh, Benfleet, yeah. Yeah.
Benfleet Yacht Club. Say we sent you.
Yeah, and then when you do start sailing, sail down to Konya, cross the Thames and sail to Konya.
Yeah, go into the ship-in pub and say...
And take a photo and send it to us.
Yeah, say, where's Nick the Teeth?
Yes, ask for Nick and Teresa and everyone will be like, ugh.
Those 2 fuckers.
That's our local, by the way.
Yep.
Okay, Russell...
Adam, sorry.
No, you go.
Adam says, when's the new clothing line coming out? The new store should be open 15th of March.
Yes, we've given Aurelia the 15th of March as a deadline, and she says that she's on track for that. So we're hoping that it's all going to be out on the 15th of March. If you follow us on social media, then you'll know straight away whether it's online or not. And we're very excited about it as well.
Yeah.
We can't wait. Okay, sorry, I'm just scrolling through. I know that I'm not going to answer every single question here. I'm just scrolling through to see if there's questions that might be of interest to everyone. Comrade says, have you noticed an increase in the number of cruises over the last few years, and how does this affect the cruising grounds?
Not really. Look, there's always times.
There is. I mean, we've not been out for long enough to see kind of the long-term changes. There's no doubt that cruising is becoming more and more popular. for sure. Especially in places like the Caribbean. I mean, the BVI's sometimes it's hot. You can't even get in the anchorage.
That's Christmas and holidays and holidays.
Yeah. So yes, cruising is becoming more popular for sure, and obviously social media and YouTube have a part to play in that because people become inspired.
Yeah, there's 800 sailing channels now. Like when we were, like when we were starting all this, for us it was like there was Delos, SLV, and Chase a Story.
Well, there's a few more than that.
But there's the ones we used to watch.
Follow the Boat.
Oh yeah.
And that's a good example.
And Paul and Cheryl.
Exactly, loads. Follow the Boat are a really good example. We were talking before about subscriber numbers. They do not have the biggest channel, but their followers are
hardcore,
devoted to them.
Yeah.
They love them. They've got such a really good kind of core following, and that must be hugely satisfying to them. So yeah.
Take care, Zari. Zari's got to leave.
Everyone, sorry, has to leave.
Do we watch Sailing Nahoa? I've seen one episode. Their editing is bloody good.
Yes.
Their filmmaking is very, very good. So yeah, good, fair play to them.
Yeah.
So can I just ask, everyone who's watching, could you please give this a thumbs up, just tick and like and watch one of our videos because that is good for our YouTube algorithm.
Yes.
So yeah, the click away, click like little clickers.
Exactly.
Clickers.
Exactly.
So we're going to round this up in a bit. All I would say to you all is we are back on the boat now, so we will be doing live streams regularly now. As we've only done one in the last 4 months, I believe. So we will continue to do these now that we're back. When we've got Wi-Fi, we'll get that sorted out.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as you know, we've got lots of stuff. Like if you answer our we've got Facebook page. If you want to send us questions on Facebook, there's loads of stuff. There's loads and loads of different ways of getting in touch with us. So if you've got special questions, let us know.
Very special
questions. Special questions.
Or if there was something that we missed that you really feel like you needed an answer.
Yeah. And as I said, if you want, a WhatsApp group and all the other bits and bobs, have a look, see what Patreon does for you. But again, if it's not for you, then we're always going to be on here,
Yeah.
But so we better say our goodbyes, haven't we? It's getting dark and we're losing the light in here, and it's getting a bit grainy. It looks a bit like a 1980s pop video.
It's also almost your dinner time.
Yeah. Damn straight. Saw through that excuse. Saw through that, Russia. Okay, listen. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so glad to be back. So glad to be back in front of the camera. So glad to be back on Ruby Rose. So glad to be looking forward to an amazing season on Ruby Rose. So there we go.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.